movement as well. So with warm-ups, you always want to do your best to warm your body up for what's to come. So prepare your body and do some of the movements that you will be doing either with load or at a higher intensity. So here we go. We're going to do a every 30-second style of warm-up. And again, this is a warm-up, not necessarily a workout, although you'll start to get nice and warm. We've got 4 exercises, and we'll go through 3 times. So the first exercises, I'll introduce them to you first, is a pause squat. So you'll go a little bit wider than you're used to. A pause squat is great because you get a little bit lower, you get more hip and knee flexion. You can also will wiggle at the bottom to work on some dorsiflexion. You can utilize your elbows on the inside of your knees to keep those legs nice and wide over your toes. You don't want to dump down and relax, you want to stay active and engaged. If you're restricted, then you can go to your height and do the similar thing, okay? We're gonna do a hinging inchworm push-up. So instead of rolling down, we're gonna do more of a deadlift style. So you're gonna send those hips back, your thighs can drag along, or your hands can drag along your thighs. Then you can tip over, bend your knees as you need, walk on out to a high plank, perform any sort of push-up variation where you can get the full range of motion, and then you're gonna walk back, and then hinge back up again. Okay, so we're just adding that hinge. Then we're gonna do an alternating reverse lunge. Again, just exploring your full range of motion. I'm gonna encourage you maybe to do a little bit of an arm raise if you feel that you can remain nice and tall and stacked and not have your ribs flare out. Otherwise, we're just alternating back and forth. And then a Cossack squat, or more of a lateral squat if you don't want to go all the way down. We'll warm up into it, so we're transferring our weight alternately over our left and right. For the full Cossack squat, you do external rotation of that straight leg, and you're sitting deep down into that loaded leg, okay? But work your way in there and I'll talk you through it. So here we go, starting in 10 seconds with our pause squats. 30 seconds each. Again, start with a wider stance, maybe than you're used to, not too flared at the toes. Come on down, feel engaged at the bottom, wiggle, go left and right, come back to the center, come back up again. Okay, so that's how we're gonna go for that 30 seconds. So as we wiggle, what we're doing is we're increasing the load on that foot and coming into more dorsiflexion. So just warming up that range of motion there. Okay, 3, 2, 1, come on up. Hinging inchworm, so send that bum back, hands drag along thighs. Once you get to a point where you need to bend your knees, that's fine. Walk on out. Now, if you can, go down for in a full plank. Then you can maybe knee push up, and then come back, and then hinge back up again. We may only get 2 done. Maybe you go and do your push-up from your knees, both directions. Again, you're just warming up. All right, alternating reverse lunge. So, making sure that as you step back, you're not going directly one foot behind the other, that you are in a bit of a split stance or a wider hip width stance, and that you're loading that back leg. Also, we're not touching our knee down. We're coming down to where we feel comfortable right now with our range of motion, remembering we're still warming up. Okay, on to our Cossack squats, but let's just start with doing some easy side to side lateral lunging. So you're sending those hips back and loading on that bent leg foot. Okay, pushing that knee out over the last 3 toes, maybe exploring some larger range of motions as we go. I'll give the full Cossack version later. Okay, back to pause squats. Here we go. Down. Wiggle at the bottom. Nice upright chest. Come back up. Good. Wiggle. As you wiggle, try and keep that heel glued to the floor. So your heel isn't lifting up, and maybe that means you have to decrease the amount that you translate over to each side. See if you can make a nice contact with your entire foot as you wiggle. Okay, hinging push-ups, inchworm push-ups. Hinge down, bend when you need, walk on out, push the ground away, feel nice and stable and strong. Here's your knee version, and then come back up again. Bend those knees, come on up and back. So you want to try and minimize the hip wiggle, even in the walking out part. You're feeling strong and stable the whole way through. Okay, alternating reverse lunge. Hey, if you're feeling like you've got the width good, you're dispersing your weight evenly through left and right, and then you've got a nice stack. Your ribs are stacked right over your diaphragm. They're not flaring out. Raise your hands up to the above your head, working on a little bit more over the shoulder or overhead position. You may feel a little bit more of a stretch in the back leg. Okay, Cossack squat. So again, let's maybe start with a couple deeper side squats, lateral squats, and then I'll introduce again the external rotation of that straight leg, allowing you to get a little bit deeper into that loaded leg. Deeper hip flexion. Okay, last round. Pause squats. Here we go. Again, try to keep that heel on the ground as you wiggle. Pushing those knees out with your elbows. Nice proud chest. If you're a little higher, you can use your arms as such. Good. 2, 1, we'll get into our hinges. So hinging, inchworm push-ups. Think of this whole piece as stability as you're walking out, and then think of that as a deadlift as you go down and as you come back up again. Inhale down, exhale up. Good. Let's do one more hinge, and then right into our alternating lunges. Okay, here we go. Now, if you want, with that overhead position, you can lean away from the back leg a bit, and then come back up. Again, maybe increasing that feeling of stretch in that back leg. But again, making sure that you're still maintaining that stacked diaphragm or ribs over pelvis, that you're loading each leg the same. Okay, here we go. Lateral squats to start for the first few. And then if you want to get into some Cossack squats, go right ahead. Making sure that you're tracking over the last 3 toes or middle 3, but you're maintaining a nice line of force right into the ground and not breaking on the way up. All right, there you go. A little warm up. I'm breathing heavy. I hope you enjoyed it. You, of course, can use it for a pre-workout or just a movement break.